Hello there, my name is Ismail and welcome to another exciting tutorial. So yesterday I made this tutorial on how to punch through metal, but what we made there was more like making an impression into metal, but we didn't really punch through metal. So today we're going to go all the way and punch through and actually punch through the metal. So if I play back and see, that's what we're going to be doing. You can see how we're tearing the metal, and also it's also deforming like you would expect metal to deform. Maybe I'm not really an expert in how metal deforms, but I think this looks convincing enough. So yeah, and if you zoom in a bit and play frame by frame, you can see the impression coming in, and then the metal starts tearing in areas where you would expect it to tear. Again, I'm not an expert in metal and how metal tears, but I think this is good enough for what we are doing. So yeah, let's get started. Also, you can go and subscribe to my second channel where I post more advanced tutorials, time lapses, more advanced time lapses that I don't have the time or don't want to make step-by-step tutorials for. So yeah, let's get started. So scale this down, scale the default cube to about 0.0 so that it gets out of the way, and then we can add a plane, rotate this 90 degrees in the y-axis so that it's facing us. Maybe scale it up a bit. I'm going to borrow this fist from this project, paste it here, and I'll remove the keyframes and also the physics collision property. If we play back, nothing is happening. So let's add the animation. So I want it to start from here, then at around frame 30, punches through the metal. I don't need this time frame. I just can. 50 frames are enough. Let me go to random colors here. And this is what we have. So we're going to be using the cloth simulation, the cloth simulator, to simulate the metal deforming. So let's go in and select the metal, go to the physics property and add a cloth modifier, then a cloth property, and you can see the cloth right now is just falling down because of gravity. So let's go down to field weights and remove the gravity so that we don't have the cloth falling down. And now we can go to select this fist and then add a collision property, physics property, so that it can interact or punch our metal plate. Right now we don't see a lot of deformation because if you look at the plane, it doesn't have enough subdivisions to give us proper deformations here. So I'll subdivide this a few times. Now if we play back, see how our cloth is deforming. Let me turn on smooth shading. Yeah, but again, now the issue we're running into is that we are deforming the entire cloth or metal plate, which is not what we want. So what I'm going to do, I want to simulate only the area with our fist, but I also want that area to have enough resolution for the deformation. So I'm scaling this down to that area so that, okay, something like that. You can see we're starting to see the impression of the fist, but now we have reduced the size of the plate. But before we increase the size of the plate, let's first fix this issue of having the entire cloth simulated instead of just the area. The entire cloth deform instead of just the area we want to deform. So select the cloth or metal, go to the object data or properties and add a new vertex group. Go to edit mode and then assign that weight here, a weight of 1. And if you go to weight paint, you can see the entire metal plate has been assigned a weight of 1. Now, if you play back, nothing is really happening because that weight value is not being used anywhere. So if we go to the physics property again to access the cloth settings, under shape we can select a pin group, and this will pin any vertex with a weight group or a weight value of 1, which is right now every vertex in our mesh. And if we play back, nothing will happen. So if we want only this area where the fist is punching, we can paint a vertex weight of less than 1 to have that deform to the cloth modifier. So make sure you are in vertex paint and access the tools panel, which is the top of here, the top panel here. In Blender 2.81, they have switched it to have all the tools settings up here. So now we can start painting. Make sure the weight paint is set to something lower than 1, and we can start painting out those vertices. So I will just hide my fist for now. I think it's here. Make sure you're painting a value of less than 1. I think I can turn on wireframe. I want to see my fist, but I don't. So yeah. So just paint around the areas around the fist, something like that. You can hide the fist so that we also get these areas inside the fist. Now if we play back, you can see how we're deforming the entire fist. Now the issue we're running into is that this fist goes all the way through the panel until the panel or cloth can't stretch anymore, and we will get an error where the fist is actually intersecting with the metal instead of just deforming it or tearing it. So to tear it, it's very simple, but I think before we do that, we should add a bit of resolution, because I don't think this is enough resolution for the simulation. So now that I've subdivided this, we can come in and start tearing the plate or cloth using the knife tool. So unfortunately, Blender doesn't have a feature that would let you tear the cloth using the cloth modifier directly. So you'd have to make the tears yourself, and then Blender will simulate those for you. So just go to edit mode and then hit K for the knife tool, and then just paint the tears yourself. And then K. You're just cutting through the different vertices like that. Let me go to this view. Let me use vertex to edge. Let me just view only edges. Makes it easier to see. Okay. So you just hit K and then drag and then space to confirm your cut. We don't really need a lot of cuts, so I think that will be enough. Again, if you play back, I think I made a mistake of increasing my resolution here. Let me just undo these steps, because it's slowing down my simulation quite a bit. Actually, I can just go to the cloth modifier or the cloth settings and reduce the steps here. That should the quality steps here, that should speed up the simulation here. Okay, let me make those cuts. just making random cuts. If we play back again, nothing will happen because these cuts are still connected. The mesh is still connected. So what I'm going to do is just select a cut like that and then hit V to separate that part. Now if we play back, you can see now that part is tearing. Now you just need to tear this other side as well. So just select the start of the cut like that and then hold down Control and go on. So if you get to a part like this, then you hit V to separate that portion. You can also try moving the edges around to see that you have actually separated the that edge, but don't confirm the movement. Just right click again to revert that, and you retain the cut, but the vertices will still stay in place. Then you can select this and hold on Control until the last vertex. Hit V to separate that. Select this. So if you make a cut like this and then select a cut from here to here, Control, that goes through a cut you have already split. The selection will not do that because these edges are already cut. So you just have to select this and until where you cut, last cut, then hit V to do that, and then you can continue from that cut up to the other cut. Great, now let's do this. Great. So it's up to you to decide how many cuts you want. Again, this goes up to here, then start from here up to there. Let's see. Perfect. I think I need to increase my simulation steps to get better results here. Let me just bake instead of playing back. Go to cache. We only need to bake 50 frames. Okay, give this a few seconds. Perfect. Now you notice that because this is a closed simulation, after we punch through, actually I don't like this tear here, how this is splitting here. So if you don't like something like that, just remember where that cut is. You can even trace it by moving frame by frame. I think that would be, let me hide the punch for a second. So this cut here, I think would be this cut. Let me go back just a tiny. Yes, this cut here is not something I want. So if you don't want a cut, you can just select those edges that make up that cut and Alt M to merge by distance, and that will get rid of that cut. Actually didn't. I think make sure you're selecting in wireframe mode so that you can select those cuts, those vertices, and then Alt M merge by distance, and you should see that they have removed some vertices, and essentially what it has done, it has reconnected that area. So now if we play back again you have to rebake this, delete cache, then bake again. Yes, I think this area also needs to be split. So let's trace this back. Okay, that vertex there should be split. I think it is. So I think I need an edge split here so that this side is not connected. Perfect. I just bake. Maybe reduce the quality back to 1. so that is faster. Problem is, it's faster but doesn't really produce better results. So let's bring it back to 3, hit back again. Just need to wait it. Okay. Okay, I think that looks better. But the problem is, let me unhide the fist. Problem is that our cloth bounces back into position, which would not happen with metal. So at around here, I want these tears to become stiff, as you would expect for metal. And the way we do that using the cloth modifier, we have to bake again, unfortunately. But what you would have to do is play with the speed multiplier. You can see the speed multiplier. If you hover over it, you can see it controls the speed of the simulation. So let's delete the bake and animate that property. So at around here, let's add a keyframe of 1 because we want the simulation or the cloth to deform with its speed, with a speed of 1, and for the rest of the time up to around here, I think up to around here, you want the simulation to slow down, let's say to about 0.01. Make sure that keyframe is set as well. Now if we play back again, let's just bake. Let's see. Okay, can see how it slowed down. It slowed down, but it was, I think, a bit too late. These had already, by the time it stopped, the deformations had already bounced back. So, and also if you look closely, in some areas the deformation are intersecting or going through themselves. That's a problem you can fix by turning on collision, under collision, turn on self collision. But if I turned it on right now, my computer will come to a halt. It's really it takes a lot of resources to calculate, mostly because I'm also recording a tutorial. So yeah, but if your computer can handle that, you can turn on self collision to avoid any intersections or cloth going through itself, like you see here. But that's not going to be a problem since we want the simulation to slow down at around here. So I can just bring this keyframe up to there. If we bake again, delete and bake, it should hopefully slow down that simulation. Great. Now we run into another issue. So if you slow down the simulation, like say here, you see how this is expanding, continuously expanding and going far and far. If you slow down the simulation while you have the fist still colliding with the cloth, like you see here, that cloth will go with that fist almost for eternity or something. It will just continue to expand and expand and expand even after the fist stops. So you want to slow down to stop the simulation, or slow down the simulation after all these deformations have stopped colliding with the fist. So for me, I would have to first go back to the cloth, delete cache. I would need to bake again, Actually, I've not changed anything here, so delete cache. Let me first remove this time. Playback. Let me also turn the quality back to 1 so that is faster. So I think for me, at around this part, at around here, at around 30 frames, these deformations are not in the way of the fist anymore, so they won't be able to collide with this. So I can turn on I can bring back the speed, slow down the speed to about 0.1 at that frame so that things can start slowing down. If you play back, you can see now this is looking better. You can also try better cloth settings by changing the preset here. Let's try dimming, because this will give us larger deformations, but we also want this step to be around 3, not that high. So if you play back, yeah, I think that's a better result. Let's back. I think this is a better punch, yeah, and maybe even better than what I had. So you can see we still have a slight motion in our deformation. So I think this speed multiplier was not low enough. So let me put it at 0.01. See, maybe 0.05. Delete cache and then back again. So basically, the settings I've touched are the settings you will have to touch when you are trying to get better quality. So you can increase these quality steps, turn on self collision, and what else, and the quality of the collision to better your deformation or simulation. But if I did that, my computer would not do anything, just slow down forever. So yeah, but basically these are the results. And if you still get that deformation, that slight animation, and you don't want it, you just have to increase the speed multiplier until you don't see that anymore, or until you don't notice it anymore. So basically we are done here, and if you want to stop watching here, that's okay. But let's make this a bit more beautiful by adding some materials. So I'm just going to borrow the materials I have here. So I'll just add UV sphere, select this, and then the metal plate, Ctrl L to link materials, then Ctrl C to copy this, and then paste it in here, and then select this, and then this, Ctrl L, materials. That should transfer the materials from this to that. Great. So I'm also going to add a second material. I think this comes with a second material. Yeah, so yeah, we have two materials here, and what I'm going to do, I want this side to have a different material from the front side. So to do that, I will just add a solidify modifier, and you can see when we do that, when we add a solidify modifier, we get this. We start seeing the cuts before the punch comes through. So to fix that, just go to the object data, and then under normals, turn on auto smooth. That should remove that. Now you can see this is what we get. But to give this side a different material, just go to the modifiers and give it a value of 1, a material index of 1 for the rim, and then a material index 1 for the back face. You can see, and maybe we should reduce the size or the thickness of this. We change the angle, the auto smooth angle here, so that these edges are more smooth. I think That is looking great. Yes, thank you for watching. Again, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and also check out my second channel for more time lapses.